Hello everyone, welcome to Happy Science Meditation Seminar. I'm Bobby Mai, Minister of Happy Science. Recently, we have been dealing with the subject as the Eightfold Path. Today, I'd like to talk about fourth criteria of Eightfold Path, that is, right action. However, I like to talk about this subject from the different aspect, such as the right work. Right work is a very difficult subject for all of us living in the modern age. This is because facing the complexity of modern society and the development of industry, we are at a loss for the criteria of define what right work truly is. In the past, there seems to be the simple criteria. Accordingly, vocational ethics used to be to some extent established, but in the modern age, it is extremely difficult to find a clear definition of right work. Another thing that we need to consider is why right work is required of us. What is the meaning of it? What view from a spiritual standpoint? We have a tendency of soul to prefer a contemplative way of life. A person with a religious soul has irresistible nostalgia for such a way of life or longing for entering such a world, which is quite undeniable. Here arises the question about what to think of and how to reconcile such a contemplative way of life, where our soul feels nostalgia with the work environment that surrounds us in the present day. This is the point where we should rack out our brains. Otherwise, we are not qualified as a people of a religious profession in the present age. Formerly, we had only to teach the quest for the right mind in the contemplative way of life. I think it was, in a sense, very easy. But how should we look at the reality of the present society? Should we ignore it entirely? Can we simply regard worldly occupation as unreal? Can we dismiss them as fertile and of no spiritual significance? Or should we think that they have a certain meaning since our souls incarnate in the present age? How should we consider the conditions of this age in the light of the law of spiritual evolution? I think this is a problem we should not overlook. There seems to be no defined conclusion about what to think of work in the modern age. In the world of religion, things like success in life, titles, or money are often considered rather sinful. But in that pretext, there will be no room for any religion's logic to work in the business world. But is that really all right? Considering the environment surrounding the business world and the religious world of future, a new theory that links these two worlds has to appear. For this reason, we have clearly defined the concept of progress as one of the principles of happiness. Without it, we cannot meet the need of our future society. The Buddhism of Shakyamuni, comparatively speaking, lacked this concept of progress. It was perhaps confined to the progress of development of the inner world alone. However, since we are now living in this dynamic environment, it is not sufficient to only think about the development of the inner world. I think now is the time to place the issue of work and God's truth in the forefront as a more essential of fundamental matter. Happy Science produced a movie entitled Love Like the Wind, which story is about the life of Hermes. When you encounter the philosophy of Hermes, you will find that God's truth does not only concern a contemplative way of life, but definitely includes the principle of development and prosperity of this world. What Hermes of Greece did over 4,000 years ago has happened in the modern world during the period from the 17th through to the 20th centuries. Some principles of the modern age already appeared at that time. Monetary economy was invented by Hermes. He also invented something very similar to the money order, and he initiated tripartite trade and made an economic community similar to the EU at that time. Hermes presented those ideas and endeavored to produce a peaceful world around the Mediterranean Sea through providing an economic alliance between countries rather than by using military forces to govern them. He also devised something like the prototype of the United Nations. Once you know these facts, you will feel that you can no longer ignore the reality of society or the business world. This is because by directing the rules that regulate the world toward God's truth, we will have an opportunity to reform the world with much greater force. Mere escape from reality will no longer do. Now, I would like to reiterate the range that Happy Science is now aiming at, or the direction in which we are heading. What I would like you to understand well is that we are now advancing with Buddha's reflective or meditative way of life and Hermes' philosophy of prosperity or development as the two inseparable factors. We try to install both of these sides and then fuse them. I do not want you to forget this basic understanding. Having merely one side is not enough to change the present age. Both Buddha's law and Hermes' law are essential. We need to integrate them. Only after integrating them can a higher concept be presented. There will come a time when both Buddha's and Hami's laws pale. It will not be the very distant future. In the first and second years of our current activities, the 80-year life of Buddha will be entirely summarized. For example, as to the reflection method, the life of Hami is now about to be summed up. You should think about what will come next after all this. We are now learning the legacy of the past and are about to integrate them to advance future. Therefore, we can see the future in the direction we are going. What we see there is the future of humankind or future society. What presents a picture of future human society is the happy science. Now, let us watch Master Oka's lecture on philosophy of Hermes. This lecture shows the hint to contemplate on the work with the mind of love. Please watch.
So why did Hermes talk about love as a clear wind? I would like you to think about this. What is it that is clear and transparent? To explain it in a different way, it is the spiritual body, the spirit, or the soul. Let's think about this. It is probably true that most of you cannot see spiritual beings of the other world. However, many of you may have thought about the idea of having a guardian spirit, or may have thought that angels of light are constantly trying to help and guide you. Probably you know it as knowledge. Try to place yourself in the shoes of these spiritual beings. Spiritual beings that cannot be seen are trying to help you. They are trying to make you happy. They are encouraging you and guiding you from the other world so that you won't choose the path of unhappiness. They fight for you when you do wrong and are about to be controlled by evil spirits or Satan. They are making every effort day and night in order to bring you happiness. However, you cannot see them. You do not even know if they exist or not, and because you don't know, you don't appreciate their presence. So, in order to teach you the philosophy of love, it may have to be in a visible form in this world. However, when you leave this world and return to heaven in the other world, and become an angel of light, what do you think your mission is? It will be the work of pure love itself. It is invisible work. You will not be appreciated and noticed. People will not acknowledge what you are doing, but you will think about the people and keep making efforts in hope of their happiness. That is why I am saying this is love like the clear wind. This is what awaits us. If you cannot understand this love like a clear wind, you will never be an angel. This love itself is the work of angels. Who recognizes the work of angels? Probably not. Do you know that they are working in churches? Or the fact that when war is going on, they are comforting people? You do not know what they are doing to make this world peaceful. But they are indeed making an effort to accomplish this. Many angels are working hard, but nobody in this world can see what they are doing. Their love is pure and transparent. They won't stop their work, even if people in this world do not understand or recognize their existence, or even if people deny the existence of angels. Still, the angels will not stop helping people in this world. Their love is just like a clear wind. Its existence is invisible, but people can feel when it passes by. The wish to make people happy is becoming materialized through people in this world. This is the love of angels. So the love like the clear wind that Hermes taught was actually about the love of angels. On the other hand, what is the love of a person? As I just mentioned, human love is visible love. People try to do something nice to others or to give love to others, but they are always seeking something in return. Don't you expect something in return when you love people? When a husband loves his wife, of course he expects that she loves him back. The same goes when a wife loves her husband. She expects something in return. Even if you give love to people around you, you probably expect they will give something in return. Isn't this true? There are many kinds of volunteer activities, but as people do these activities, they most often seek for the credit or recognition that is accompanied by the activities. What I am saying is that even if an action is recognized as love in this world, it is still not enough from the spiritual perspective. Of course, even if people seek something in return, it is still important to be nice and helpful to others rather than doing nothing. However, if such an act of love contains one's ego, selfishness, and self-satisfying desires, then that love is like a wind with sand and dust. It would be like a sandstorm, as if dust is mixed in with the clear wind. This is when love contains a sense of self-satisfaction. However, an angel's love is not like this. Their love is devoting love, love that gives, or love that expects nothing in return. They just give and only give. They do not expect anything in return. So even someone tries to do something nice in this world, if one is expecting people's praise or promotion or money in return, then it is not angel's love in the truest sense. The love that Hermes taught was love that expects nothing in return. He tried to create a utopia in this world based on this selfless love. He tried to build an ideal world and aim for progress and development. Hermes did not give up on this world. He wished to create harmony in this physical world too. This world of happiness already exists in the other world. The other world is divided into two big categories, heaven and hell. Heaven is a place where people filled with light and happiness live. It is a place where people return to when their hearts were filled with light and good thoughts while they were living on earth. Then, what about hell? This is a place for people who used to live only for themselves, for their own desires, and at others' expense. These people hurt, killed, or ruined other people's lives, and thought of it as insignificant as long as things went well for themselves. Such people fall down to hell. These are the two different worlds. The world of heaven is filled with happiness. It is utopia. If the purpose were to only be able to return there, that would be the end of the story. However, this world was the cause for heaven and hell to be divided. The way people live and think while they are in this world separates heaven and hell. So, unless we make this world an ideal place, hell will never disappear. We are simply postponing the work to our next life. In the other world, angels visit hell, or purgatory as it is called in Christianity, to save those who have fallen to hell. It is indeed a very tough job. They are working very hard every day. In order to make these angels' work much easier, it is important to increase the number of people who are aware of the truth and make an effort to create utopia in this world. This was Hermes' idea.
How was the Master Oka's lecture? Now let us practice self-reflection on right work. We will check 2 points on the right work. First, are you doing your work with the mind of love? Second, is your work contributing to the creation of future society as an utopian world? Please check 2 points on your right work. Before practicing self-reflection, I'd like to recite Prayer to Guardian and Guiding Spirit for you. Prayer to Guardian and Guiding Spirit. My Guardian and Guiding Spirit, deep inside of me, you are the fountain of life, the light of hope, the source of wisdom, and the shield of courage. Every day, may you help me develop my soul and refine my mind. Every day, may you give me inspiration and show me the right path to follow. Please protect me from all evil and guide me in living a better life. For this, I give my thanks. Now let us practice self-reflection on right work or right action. Please take 2 points on your work. Are you doing your work with the mind of love? Are you doing your work with the mind of love? Is your work contributing to the creation of future society as a utopian world? Is your work contributing to the creation of future society as a utopian world? How was your self-reflection on right work? Did you find the love of the mind in your work? Is your work contribute to the creation of future society as an utopian world? I really looking forward to it. Now let us practice meditation for realization of hope, guided by Master Okawa. Let us begin.
Let us now move on to the second meditation, meditation for the realization of goals. Meditate on what you want to accomplish in the coming year. Envision yourself realizing these goals. I'm sure that each of you has something that you want to accomplish more than anything else in the next year. I'd like you to visualize it very hard. Now, sit up straight, steady your breathing, and close your eyes gently. Think of what you want to accomplish the most this year and enter the meditation of the realization of goals. Tell your mind of your goals for this year and call to mind your deep conviction to accomplish and realize them. Begin. End your meditation. This meditation is very important because you focus on a concrete goal, like the one for next year. During your meditation, you focus your will on the course that you want your life to take over the next year, or what you want to become like in 1 year. And it's important to make a habit of reflecting on whether you have accomplished the goal at the end of the year. Picture yourself a year from now, and focus strongly on what you want to happen. Then, reflect on how you do at the end of the year. Compare where you are to where you want to be, and you will grow and progress greatly. Without goals, there can be no progress. Without goals, there's no passion. Therefore, it's vital that you define your goals and ideals and focus on achieving them.
How was your meditation? Could you visualize that your work is creating the bright future? Actually, our true work is missionary work, because we are studying Buddha's truth, Master Oka's truth. It is our mission to spread the teaching to the people all over the world, because they are suffering, and the atmosphere or the society or in the world, it is getting darker and darker. Now the time to light the world with your torch. That is your mission. The torch itself is the truth. Happy Science Master Oka's teaching is the torch to bright the future, and bright and light the society, light the world. So let's get together to work as conveying the truth. That will help the people suffering from anything. Whatever they encounter, Happy Science teaching can help save them, because this is a universal law. If we follow the teaching, that is the way to the happiness. Meditation and self-reflection, especially Eightfold Path, is the way to enlightenment. The light of enlightenment, will brighten up the whole world. You are the hope to spread the teaching, make people happy, to be saved. I really rely on you. I trust you. You can do it. Please spread the teaching together and make people happy. That is our right work. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next week at the same time and same way. Thank you. Have a good week.